Nigerian Spice, rebranding Nigeria image across the globe.
My name is Bunmi Alabi. I'm popularly known as Dr. Bunmi Alabi, but my full names are Oluwabunmi Onome Ogunshemoyin Alabi. Ogunshemoyin is my maiden name. I was born in Ibadan, in Oyo State, Nigeria, to an Ekiti prince, Prince Adebowale Ogunshemoyin, who went all the way to Delta State, to the Isoko tribe, to take a wife. And that is Mrs. Alice Omoruvigo, formerly Ubrufi, now Ogunshemoyin. So that's where the Onome in my name comes from. So I am half Isoko and fully Yoruba. I spent most of my life in Ibadan. Fully my primary school. Well, okay, actually, I spent the very, very early years in Warri with my grandmother. So I started, I had a foundation, which is why when people hear me speak Pidgin English, I speak it, they say you speak like a Wafi girl. That's because my foundations, my first 7 to 8 years were spent in Warri. Then I moved to Ibadan when my parents came back from their studies overseas. I moved to Ibadan and continued primary school there at Omolewa Nursery and Primary School. And then I moved on to St. Louis Grammar School, which was run by Reverend Sisters. And from there, I went on to Federal Government Girls College Oyo for A levels. And then I moved on to University of Ibadan, where I studied medicine and graduated in 1995. I've got quite a lot of childhood memories. I grew up in Nigeria at a time when it was still safe, where as a parent you can allow your child to go and play outside. You were not worried. So I played a lot on the streets. I had lots of neighborhood friends. I've always been, even though I'm an only child, I do not have brothers or sisters, but I had lots of brothers and sisters from the neighborhood. I can't even begin to talk about my childhood experiences. There are so many. I just want to say, it was a very good time, and it's all my experiences as a young person, my primary school, my secondary school. They contributed to shaping who I am today, or who I grew up to be. Um, of course, I ended up as a medical doctor, but that wasn't the it wasn't a lifelong dream. If you ask me what I wanted to do, if I was one of those typical kids who they change their careers every year. They want to become something else every year. There was a time I wanted to become a nurse because my mother is a retired nurse, and I loved that crisp white uniform with the very crisp cap. I remember I used to always fold my mother's cap. After it's been washed and starched, there's a way to fold it that it now looks like a nurse's cap. And I used to do that for my mom. I enjoyed doing that. And so I wanted to become a nurse. But my mom would not hear of that at all. She felt that nurses were not well treated, and she always, just like a parent, always wants the best. She felt in the medical team, because medicine is always teamwork. In the medical team, somebody sits on top of the team, and it's usually the doctor. And so she wanted her child to be right at the top of the food chain. So I became a doctor. And there was a time when I also wanted to become an accountant like my dad. My dad is also a retired accountant. Then I wanted to sing, because I sing quite well. I wanted to sing and act. Those are natural talents for me. I remember I was always, during my A levels, I was the star actress for our drama teacher. In high school, I was the star singer. I was one of the star singers for our music teacher. So, those were my natural talents. But in the era in which I grew up, You had to be a professional. You are either a doctor, a lawyer, an engineer, an accountant, an architect. You had to be one of those things, that carried a title. You can't just say you are a singer or you're an actor. So I was strongly influenced in choosing a career by that sentiment. Um, in terms of the things that keep me going, I'm a Christian by faith, and I am strongly influenced by the Bible. One of the things that motivate me, that keep me going, are scriptures. I reference scriptures a lot. So when the Bible says, "Do unto others as you would have done unto you," that's like my golden rule. So whatever I would not like to receive, I don't do it. I treat everyone and every situation the way I would love to be at the receiving end. Um, will I say I have golden rules? I don't know if I can call them golden rules, but every scripture. So, like I said, I'm highly motivated by scriptures, and whatever the scriptures say regarding any situation, that's what you are likely to find me doing. Um, in terms of favorite books, I loved reading as a child. My mom encouraged me to read. As a matter of fact, she would buy me a book a week and ask me to read it, and I will summarize it so that and tell her the summary and tell her new words that I learned from the book. So that way, my mom will know that indeed I read the book. So I did quite a lot of reading. As my reading started getting narrowed, I started having favorite authors. I started having favorite themes. My favorite kind of thing is when they're investigating and they're trying to find out who did the thing. There was a crime scene and who did it. So John Grisham is one of my favorite authors. I also like reading about politics. So I've read almost all of Jeffrey Archer's books. I still buy now when there are new ones out. I still buy them, but I'm so busy these days. I don't have time to actually read fiction. So, but I have quite a library of books, and I'm waiting for when I retire. Then I will sit and start reading all those books all over again. So I used to also like Daniel Steele. My mother's favorite books is Daniel Steele. So I read Daniel Steele just so that I can have that conversation with my mom. Um, Movies, I don't have much time these days to watch movies. I used to love movies. When I was growing up, the favorite movies then were Indian movies. It was Amitabh and all those kind of things we grew up with. But as time went on, I think as I've grown older, I have kind of narrowed down to Nigerian movies. I love watching Nigerian movies, especially movies that are done in my language, Yoruba language. I think I started enjoying movies that I can relate to, that about the life that I know. So most of my movies, my favorite movies, are Nigerian movies. I am inspired, again, like I said, by scripture. I'm inspired by um, doing good. It's important to me that whatever I'm doing is good, and it's beneficial, and it's a blessing to someone or whoever. So I think that's my inspiration. It has to be, whatever I'm involved in has to be a blessing. Some good, there has to be purpose to it. That's my inspiration. Do I have a mentor? I don't know that I have one mentor. Over time, I have chosen different mentors. I choose a person per time. But if there has been any constant mentor or mentors in my life, I would say is my parents. Um, I feel very blessed. I think I had good parents. I've got good parents. They raised me very well. They taught me, a lot of values that that's uh, that yield fruit in life. Um, my mom used to always do one thing when I was a kid. She would tell me lots of stories. Whatever she saw, she would come home and she would tell me about it. Whatever she heard, if I wasn't there hearing it with her, she will make sure she tells me about it. And she used to always say, learn from other people's experiences. Do not wait until you have experienced it yourself before you learn your lesson. So I would say my biggest mentors are indeed my parents. Um, how do I define success and failure? That's a question I asked myself many times. That, what is success to me? Is it being rich? Is it being able to pay my bills? Is it, and I think I came to a personal conclusion that success is when you live a balanced life. When, when I'm able to be self-sufficient. I don't have to have too much wealth. I would love to, but when I'm self-sufficient and I'm not a problem to anybody else, and I can be a blessing, I'm in a position to be a blessing, that makes me successful. And if the converse is the case, if I'm not achieving that, then I'm failing. If I'm not able to be a blessing to people, or for in situations, then I think I'm failing. If I'm not able to handle my business, then I think I'm failing. So that would be my personal, definition of success and failures. And in terms of what keeps me going, hope, happiness. I'm quite a positive person. I have a positive outlook on life. I always believe it's going to be good. Things will be good, and the fact that there's tomorrow means that I have a chance to redo whatever was not right. So there's hope keeps me going. Hope that things can always be better, and that yes, there's a chance to do things right tomorrow. It just keeps me going. So what made me decide to pursue a career? I don't think that was my decision at all. That was decided for me. You have a career or you have a career, no options. Those are the options. You have a career or you have a career. So I think, yeah, by reason of the way I was raised, I just had to be a career person. The most important, now in terms of, let me go back to that question. In terms of why I decided to be a doctor, I didn't decide to be a doctor. I was more like nudged, should I say I was nudged into being a doctor. In secondary school back then, they used to always consider that the brightest kids were put into the science class. So all the brightest kids will be in the science class, and they will do physics, chemistry, biology, additional maths and all of that. And I just found myself in those classes doing physics, chemistry, biology and all of that. So and of course, if you do physics, chemistry, biology, then you are heading towards becoming a doctor. Everybody assumes that you're going to be a doctor. And my mom, being a nurse, was not against the idea at all. In fact, she wanted me, if I was going to be in the medical field, she wanted me to be, at the top of the food chain. So yeah, so that's informed the choice. But haven't found myself there. Because again, I was raised, to not give up. I was raised to give it my utmost. So even at times when I felt, oh, this is hard, giving up was not an option. Giving up on becoming a doctor when I was in medical school, giving up was just not an option. So I just had to, keep going until I made a success of it. In terms of the most important skills for a successful career, I think one of them is what I just said now, which is never give up. Be focused. Being focused is very important if you want to make a success of a career. Another thing is to always seek knowledge, have knowledge. If you want to do better in your career, there are always people who are doing better than you, who are doing better than where you are right now. Seek information, seek knowledge from those people, so that you can, take that step forward. Surround yourself with people who will motivate you in that field, where you want to make a success of. And and pray. In terms of challenges faced, I think each career, of course, has its own challenges. Mine is the medical career, and I'm a specialist pediatrician. There are challenges that are specific to my industry, in terms of disease management, in terms of the burden of disease. But then you have general challenges depending on where you are. So one of the challenges that I experienced was when I left the country and I came here to South Africa. I was literally set back. By the time I came here, I had already trained. I was at the end of my training as a pediatrician from University College Hospital. I had trained as a registrar in UCH, and then I moved on to Luth, where I was a senior registrar, and I was about writing doing my Part 2 exams, which was the final paper, to qualify me as a specialist pediatrician when I came here. And I was trying to find equivalencies to see, okay, how do I just slot in? How do I carry on? And I was told, no, we don't even know that you are qualified. In fact, we don't even know that you are a doctor. First, go and write exams, and let's even know that are you even a doctor at all, And that can be quite challenging. And I know a lot of people who got stuck at that level, because at that level now, having to now prove that you are a doctor at all, after you've practiced as a doctor for many years, now begins to look like, oh, I have to go and read all these things again. I have to go and study again. But yeah, I did that. And then specifically in this country, South Africa, where I am, every country has their own system. But in this country, the system is such that when you come in as a doctor, they recognize you as a doctor, but then they now classify you. So every doctor has classifications. They have categories. So the fact that you are a doctor, they would classify you as a general practitioner. So at least they don't want to know, did you train as a pediatrician? No, you are a doctor, you are a general practitioner. Then they will now classify you general practitioner, public service. So you are not allowed to work in private. I remember I was approaching hospitals. I didn't know that, that was, I just knew that, yes, I passed the exam. So I'm a doctor in South Africa. And then I started trying to work in places only for me to be told, no, you can't work here. You don't have the right registration, So it took me a while to actually understand the system here, that yes, I have been registered, but I can only work in a government hospital. My feet should not be found anywhere other than a public service hospital. Then now came so I was employed as a general practitioner, as a medical officer. Now the next challenge is, but I'm in pediatrics. How do I get back into pediatrics? And, it became clear to me that I cannot get into pediatrics unless I change my category. Remember I said I'm in the category of public service. I now have to change my category to the category of independent practice. And how do I do that? I need to prove to them that with all the books I have read and all my qualifications that I'm coming from Nigeria with, I need to prove to them that I am at the same level, the same standard as a South African trained doctor. And what does that entail? I must go back and write the final year exams. So I now had to approach the university and join myself with the final year students and make friends with all the final year students at the time that, you know what, guys, you are studying for exams. Me too, I will join you. We will study together because I need to write the same exams that you are writing. And yeah, and I scaled through all of that. I now got a category registration, general practitioner, category independent. Now with that, they can now accept me into pediatrics. And not just, oh, you've trained before, so come and start working. No, go and train again. So I was lucky. God gave me favor. I was, meeting with heads of departments who were willing to take me, who were even willing to move things around for me, just to accommodate me. So I got into the program and I trained again, and I graduated as a pediatrician, South African trained. And yeah, so, and even then, there's always this, oh, you are a stranger, you're a foreigner, you shouldn't be in this place, or these are areas that are, reserved for our citizens and that kind of thing. You get those kind of things. It's not written on any paper, but you always have those nuances. You have those, that the reason why you're not proceeding or progressing is because you have reached your ceiling. You've reached your limits, in those areas. And so, yeah, so there are challenges, those challenges will always come. They will always be there, and yeah, but, you just have to be strong. When I always say, no one held a gun to my head to come to South Africa. So whatever I find, I deal with it. That has always been my attitude. And I don't sit and feel sorry for myself. I just move on. So, yeah. In terms of what makes me unique, I think my Nigerianness, being a Nigerian, makes me unique. There's something about us Nigerians. I don't know if it's the water we drink there, but we all just have a can-do attitude. I have met very few Nigerians, even at home, who feel defeated at the prospect of anything, and it's got nothing to do with education or anything. You find your average Joe on the street who didn't go to school, who says, we fit do am, we sabi am, and it's just a Nigerian thing, and so that in itself sets me apart, where I am. The fact that I'm an only child, I think, also makes me unique, because I didn't grow up in a home, fighting with brothers and sisters. I kind of grew up, always just having everything handed to me, because I'm daddy and mommy's only child, so it made me approach things a bit differently. I have friends who always scold me and say I don't know how to ask for things. And I say, yeah, because I never had to ask. I didn't grow up asking. So yeah, so that sets me apart as well. In terms of things I have learned, I don't know if any particular one stands out, but I know that I'm a lot wiser now than I was 3 years ago. I have learned that there are limitations in certain, there are certain things that, would limit you just because of where you are, your location. So, and I'm not going to fight that. So I've learned I've learned that it's important to choose my battles, choose my fights. I won't fight where I know I cannot win. So I've learned how to figure out where I can win and where I know it's a lost cause. Don't even fight here. Just accept it and move. There are certain things that I know I would never achieve by living here in South Africa, just because I'm not a South African that was born here. Um, so I've just, learned to accept those kind of things, and, try and see how if it's something that I really want, I try and see how I can achieve it where it is possible to achieve it. What most discouraging moments? I think in terms of most discouraging moments, I experienced more discouraging moments here in South Africa than anywhere else I've been. And I'm widely traveled. I've actually been to very many places in the world. But one thing that I found very discouraging was the fact that people just shut down. They don't want to engage once they realize that I'm not local. You find people, they just automatically start speaking to you in Zulu, or they start speaking to you in Sotho, Tswana, Pedi. And then when you say, can you say that in English? They just say, it's fine. And they're walking off. And that, I found that it used to dampen my spirit a lot. I remember there was one day I chased after this woman. Sometimes I can be gangster. I chased after this woman. I said, come here. You have to tell me what you wanted to say. And I remember making quite a scene because I was just fed up with people not wanting to talk to me because I didn't speak in their language. Obviously, I've been here for very many years now. I have quite a good command of Zulu. The nurses usually tease. They say they can't gossip around me because I will understand everything. I find Zulu to be the easiest African language to pick up here in South Africa. And so I've picked up Zulu. But yeah, that I found very, very discouraging. And in terms of obstacles that I have faced, those are the kind of things I've mentioned, that, being not local and not being easily accepted, those are huge obstacles. I had a wonderful surprise. No, that was surprising. I was beautifully surprised by a patient's mom. On my birthday always falls on a working day, and I'm not one of those people that will say because it's my birthday I'm taking the day off or whatever. So I wasn't off, I was working. So if you see pictures of my birthday, you always find me wearing hospital scrubs with my stethoscope. That day I came to see, this was a baby who had been in hospital for a long time. And so over time, everybody knew this mom. She was in and out with this baby because the baby was quite sick. If we discharge her today, in another 5 days, she's back. So she was spending, for the first 8 months of this child's life, she spent most of it here in the hospital. So one of the times, it was my birthday. And when I just came for the ward round, I came to the ward. As I just got in there to open the patient's room, there she had decorated the whole room with balloons and happy birthday, Dr. Alabi. And she had set out platters of food. It was an amazing surprise coming from an unexpected source. And that actually made me feel very, very much appreciated in what I do. She obviously felt I'm touching the life of her child and their life as a family. For her to spend her money to do that, that was wonderful.
My name is Julia Wilson, living in South Africa. I'm a Rivers girl from Port Harcourt. Now, but Dr. Alabi is my boss. I've met her for so many years. And ever since I've met her, she's been very good to me. Nigerians living in South Africa is difficult when you don't have someone who actually feel what you're feeling or see what you're going through in a foreign land. Ever since I've met her, she's a very courageous, hardworking lady. She's a go-getter and she's very particular about the job she's doing and her integrity. In South Africa, all the patients coming here, they actually value Dr. Alabi's work. And I'm also in support of what Dr. Alabi's project is. She's going through this Nigerian Spice project. This Nigerian Spice is a spice that we have been waiting for many, many years, to spice up the belief attached to Nigerian status quo. I believe personally, as a Nigerian living in South Africa, that with Nigerian Spice in action, it will help the norm to be grounded for a turnaround change. And the decade stigmatism belief that has overwhelmed many of us living in South Africa will be turned around for good. Okay. Dr. Alabi is my boss, and what I've learned from her in those many years I've been working for her, she's a very diligent, intelligent, clear speaker, passionate about her job, and these I have actually inculcated to my life, to show an example of what she's been doing. I'll be able to spread this love to people, especially when we have patients in the rooms. We have to be jovial, make them feel at home. And this is what I've learned from Dr. Alabi, that the patient comes first when they come to the room. The patient comes to the room or they come for consultation. This I know. She makes the patient feel at home. She makes the patient to feel that you don't have to worry. Your child will be okay. And this I've learned so many years. And we keep seeing more patients coming to see Dr. Alabi as a specialist. Some have even decided not to go to any other specialist, but only Dr. Alabi. So in conclusion, I would like to say that Dr. Alabi is a good example to me living in South Africa. So finally, I would like to say that Dr. Alabi have actually spread love, comfort, jovial. She's a good giver to the less privileged. And I've learned this so many years to be able to also follow our example. As a Nigerian living in South Africa, Dr. Alabi have created a good image to show that there are some people who can live well and live nice in a foreign land because of her hard-working attitude. She has spread so much love to the patient, to her staff, to people who does not even belong to her family. And that really has shown a good image as a Nigerian living in South Africa. Thank you.
My name is Fundondaba. I'm working as an enrolled nurse here at Lakeview Private Hospital under Netcare. I'm working in pediatric ward and other wards around the hospital, but I'm based in the peds ward. I know Dr. Alabi as my pediatrician doctor. What I can say about her, I've been with her for about 3 months now since I've been hired here. To me, she's a good person. She is my child's pediatrician. She helped me a lot, and what I can say, the lessons I'm learning from her, she's giving us more information about the diagnosis of the kids, sickness of the kids, and educating us how to help those kids, even the first aid, what you can do at home if the kids are sick. The other thing, what I like about her, is that she's a friendly person. She's a friend to me. She's a friend because wherever she is, she's going to have function or stuff like that, she invites us. I can say like Last year, she had her 50th birthday. She invited all of the hospital. Some of us, we managed to attend. And she had her parents' anniversary. She also invited us. Now it's towards December. We're gonna have Christmas parties and stuff. And when she closes her firm upstairs, she also invites us. We dine with her. She eats what we eat what she eats. So to me, I can say I don't know about. I can't pronounce her name. Always difficult for me to pronounce that. Bunmi. Bunmi. She used to say, oh, Bunmi. Then yeah, it's difficult for us as South Africans to pronounce her name. She's a very friendly person, and then what I like about her is that she tell everything as it is. She doesn't hide everything. If she doesn't like the thing, she just tell you straight that this and that I don't like. That's what I like about her. And what I can tell you about her that you don't know about her is that she loves South Africa very much. She loves South Africa very much. If we invite her to our parties as South Africans or our wedding anniversary, the wedding function, she come even if it's far, different provinces. We always with her. She come with us, and I can say to me, there's nothing bad about the Nigerians that I know like her. They are good people to me. I don't want to lie. Thank you.
My name is Sister Portia. I'm working in pediatric ward in Lakeview Hospital. I work with Dr. Alabi. I think it's more than 6 years now. I met her in 2018, working with her since I was still a staff nurse. Dr. Alabi is a very good person. She's a princess. She's a queen. She is a wonderful person to work with, if I can tell. She doesn't like stories. You must be a straight person because she's a straight talker, and she likes us to do everything like she wants. We know what she wants at what time. So in pediatric ward, we're very happy to have her. Dr. Alabi, you can talk anything with her. She's my pediatrician. You can call her at night, WhatsApp her at night, and tell if you have a problem with the child. If you don't understand anything, even in the ward, you're more than welcome to call her or just text her and ask her what to do and what. You will get her. I remember when I first came here, joined this hospital, some nurses were like, yo, she's very sweet and what. But when you go and meet her and talk to her, she's a very good person. What I know about her, she's passionate, she's compassionate, she's got compassion, she loves her job, and she doesn't want anything with her children. I can see when the parents does wrong things, or maybe she didn't follow the procedures, what she told them to do at home. She will take the child. She even wished to take the child with her at home. So what I also like with her, it's a friendly person. She's friendly, very. If you have a problem, you're able to talk to her, and then she'll advise you. And then another thing, if you want to go, maybe you want tips, it's not like work only. When we do rounds here, we do everything, we talk, and then we communicate very well. She will tell you that we'll speak about families, we'll tell her about our kids. It's just she's a lovely person. You tell her everything, and then she tells us everything about her. And she's a family person. And then I remember when we went to her 50th birthday, 14 May last year. We all wore Nigerian clothes with different styles from Nigeria. It was very beautiful. We had presents. What I can say, we like working with Dr. Alabi. The communication and sometimes we hear stories about Nigerians, I'm on that now, about Nigerians, that Nigerians are bad people. We hear lots of stories, but since I met Dr. Alabi, I've never seen a wrong side on her. Although we hear stories outside that Nigerian about maybe what they do outside, like no, I've never. Yes, thank you.
Okay, my name is Salome Moepia. I want to talk about Dr. Alabi. Dr. Alabi is not a doctor, he's our mom, and is a contributor also. She led the people, ne? And I met Dr. Alabi from Glenwood until here, for sure close to 15 years with Dr. Alabi. And then I was working in the milk. She was the one, ne, who was teaching me how to make a milk, how to hygiene. She's the one who was teaching me everything about the babies. And then Dr. Alabi, she's always there when I was having the problem. Ne? And then she's easy to go to Dr. Alabi to talk my problem, and I never had anything about what I told Dr. Alabi. Ne? And then about a Nigerian, I never had anything. And then I've got my brother from Nigeria. We call that brother in Zulu's name, Nkosi Nati. Yeah? He's from Nigerian. So we love them. They are so nice. They are kind. We like them.
Hi, my name is David Tony Alabi. Dr. Alabi is last child. She's obviously my mom. Here's the thing about Dr. Alabi that I see her as, that I see my mom as, not even just as doctor. She is an inspirational woman. She's a strong woman. She's a hard-fighting woman, you know. For as long as, and all of the stories she's told us about her childhood, I've seen her work hard, and it's just been nothing but a story of hard work and continuous hard work, which has inspired me and all of my other siblings as well to keep on working hard. She just is such a powerful woman and such somebody who I really look up to. I've used her, in fact, in many examples in my school, and for when they say, you know, tell us about somebody who works hard. I always bring her up. She's such an amazing woman. I can't even find the right words to describe it. One of the most important lessons I'll say that she's taught me is through this hard work of hers to always keep on going. You know, there are many moments when I felt like being down, many moments when I've failed and I've beaten myself up over it, but she's always there to just remind me I should never give up, I should never stop going, I should keep on going. And if I strive hard enough, I can be able to achieve it. I mean, I just finished high school yesterday. I just wrote my last final, and it was a long and hard process to do so, but her words kept on going through my head is that, you know, I must keep it up. I must keep up the good work, keep on trying, keep on studying, keep on going. That is one of the most important lessons that she's taught me throughout my childhood that I'm always going to remember for the rest of my life. You know, what does Nigeria mean to me in this country? Well, I believe it said earlier, you know, we're given a bad reputation in this country, you know, not just from the jokes, from things that people have seen. We are given a bad reputation, but that reputation doesn't define Nigerians. You know, we are not like that. There are many, many inspiring Nigerians out there who have worked hard, who do hard work, and who have tried hard to leave a nice legacy. And I think that that's what we should be remembered for instead, rather than what they currently know us for. So I do feel like we're given a bad rap, but we're good people, actually. Nigerians are very good people. I must say something that about my mom that you may not know is she has an amazing voice. She really loves to sing, sings a lot in the car, in the house, almost practically everywhere she goes. She is really just an amazing singer too. Been singing since I was born, practically. Yeah, I think that's about it.
Hi, my name is Elizabeth Kumalo. I'm staying in Orlando East. I'm a Zulu. To know Dr. Alabi. Dr. Alabi, I'm working for Dr. Alabi. It's a person, it's a right person for us. And she like people. The way I see Dr. Alabi, it's with my culture city in Bogoto. It's a strong woman in this South Africa. The point for Nigerians. Me, I see Nigerians is like my sister and my brother. There's no problem for Nigerian because I'm working with Dr. Alabi. I'm meeting the concert for Nigerian. The people, she didn't know the right one. It's not all the Nigerians is going to make the problem in this South Africa country. The other Nigerian is good. You see Dr. Alabi. I learned something with Dr. Alabi. Dr. Alabi, she is patient. She know to listen somebody if he suffer. She do a lot of things. She do cooking. She do the many things here in the office with the staff, with me, with the kids. She help the people, feed the people if he's hungry. How is Dr. Alabi like that? The thing I learned to Dr. Alabi. That's why I like Dr. Alabi. Dr. Alabi, I call Dr. Alabi mommy because my parents was dying, all of them. I said, mommy, I don't want to be hungry. I cook for her, I do everything. We love. It's a humble person, Dr. Alabi. If she didn't want something wrong, she come to you, she tell, I don't like it, this thing. And you are a person, you must think if you work, this thing is wrong. If you do the wrong thing, go quickly to her. Tell him, I do this and this and this wrong thing. And is a nice boss.